In this general area, I wasn't around many people who looked like me. Because of this, I was called ghetto for wearing Air Forces, spicy for being Latina, and told my hair looked unkempt and crazy just because it was curly. Every time there was a football game, I would wake up extra early to straighten my hair because the advisors told me that everybody had to look uniform. Pay attention to the stereotypes and microaggressions that are used in seemingly harmless jokes within your inner circle. These microaggressions build up over time to make you desensitized and blinded to the reality of racial inequity in this country. It is not a coincidence or an accident that my family moved from a community of color to a primarily white community in order to give my sister and I a better education. We need to recognize why it is that a majority white community has better funding and better educational resources. This is due to a history of racist policies such as redlining that declared black and brown communities as undesirable and decided who would be approved for housing loans. During this time frame, only 2% of loans were given to black families, leaving them stagnant, while white families were able to move out of these communities and grow wealth by investing in their neighborhoods. Low home value, in turn, led to low property taxes, which in turn results in underfunded schools and educational resources. This perpetuates a continued cycle of poverty that has lasting effects on people of color, especially black people. These harmful practices and policies are on top of hundreds of years of genocide, colonization, slavery, and segregation of not only black people, but the people who came before us. Before we move forward, we must acknowledge our past. In order to gather here today, we must acknowledge the stolen land that we stand on. This land once belonged. So if we can all please take a moment of silence for the natives that were murdered here today so that we can just exist. Thank you. It is so important that we are cognizant of the true history of this country, the good and the bad, so that we can move forward in dismantling the systems in which white supremacy has infiltrated and dug its roots. Thank you.
We got some other people come up and share their experiences. Please, as you've already been, just be respectful. Let people use their voice, tell their story. Just continue to just be great humans. That's what you've been doing today. So I appreciate you. Thank you again. The first speaker we have up is Jay.
Hold it. Man, I'm too short. Hold it. Jesus.
Thank you everyone for coming. I lost my voice during the march, guys, so if you guys can't hear me, I apologize in advance. But I just want to say again, thank you everybody for coming. In this time of change, I'd like to say a few words, topics that I feel are important. In this time of change, I just want everybody to recognize that this is for George Floyd. For almost 8 minutes straight, while he was handcuffed, he protested and screamed that he could not breathe. He was not a threat. In his last moments of his life, he was crying for his mother. He was not a threat. We will not stop until we get justice for George Floyd. To all my people here today, we are all leaders leading the change for justice and equity. The fight just doesn't stop here though with protests. We need to organize and unite. We need to make programs, and we need to make this country great for not just black people, but also Latinos, for Asians, for everybody. And for all my people that are sitting home, because I know you guys are watching this on IG Live or wherever else you're watching this, sitting home on the internet won't help the change. You got to stand up and make a change with everybody. To the police, I want to make a statement to you guys too. There are good people who are police, nobody's disputing that. But there aren't enough good cops holding the bad cops accountable. You want change, you guys want change, let's work together, because this isn't working for us and this isn't working for you guys. Now growing up, we all had to talk, am I right? For white people, it was the birds and the bees. For black people, it was a guideline on how we should act when we get stopped by the cops, and how we get. Sorry guys, I can't talk. I'm a little emotional right now. It was our guideline on how we could survive when we get pulled over by the cops. I'm 25 years old. When I have kids, I no longer want to have these conversations with our youth. I want to make this loud and clear. This is not a race thing, not a race thing at all. This is an American thing, and it needs to change right now. In closing, I have a question for everybody that's listening. What happens next? Change will come, but it's on us to decide whether this change will be for the good or whether it will be for the worse. If we play our cards right, and we do what we're supposed to, and we all unite, make programs like I said, and we all vote and speak with our voices, change will happen. I believe it will. Now, I'm too young that I wasn't able to march with Martin. I wasn't able to march with Malcolm. But I was able to march with all my brothers and sisters here today. Thank you very much.
Next speaker we have coming up is Vaughn.
Hello, everybody. I went to this high school right here. I was one of 30 black kids in the whole school after I graduated. I just want to start this off by saying, Honorable Brother Malcolm X said that until there was a common enemy for us all to get behind, black and white people wouldn't be able to have a revolution like this. So, since that, they basically tried to make the common enemy be Donald Trump, but this is not a revolution against President Trump. This is not a revolution against racism. This is a revolution against ignorance. I struggle with using the word ignorance because we all know what's going on. We all know, whether you deny it or not, you know what's going on in this country. No matter what you know or you don't know, most of you know you don't want to be a black man in America. Unless they sing, rap, or play sports. Wow. We all know it's legal to kill black people unless you're a black person, then you do life. So that's my answer to black on black crime, if there's anybody with that in their mind. In a lot of cases, being black in America means you've been programmed from birth with poor food options, poor schools, contaminated drinking water, gun violence. You get through all these obstacles in life, grasp a little bit of success, grab the horns, and boom, you get shot over 50 times the night before your wedding like Sean Bell. You get shot to death in front of your wife and child like Philando Castile, as we've already said. You get hung in a police station like Sandra Bland.
It's okay, it's okay.
I'm not here on behalf of just the black people. I'm here on behalf of all people. So, when you say all lives matter as a response to Black Lives Matter, I don't even take it as take it as your stupidity or your ignorance. That means that somebody's led you off the righteous path. So what I want everybody to do here, besides just vote, besides just protest, for the people that hate in their hearts and their lives, that you know you may be the one person that can touch them, touch them. Speak to them. Teach them. People on it. That's like me running up in your house and saying, I discovered this pot. Through my life, I haven't had to experience the most egregious abuse from the police, but I have gotten tickets and I have been cuffed here and there. And I have gone to the municipal buildings, and overwhelmingly in West Patterson, in Totowa, in Clifton, in Hackensack, it's people that look like me in there. I'd say about 85 to 90%. And I know that that's not the demographic that we share in this state. So there is a problem. We may not be getting shot on the street as much as in some of these other states, but there's still a problem called implicit bias. So it's up to everybody here to teach each other what that means, what it means to be a whole person, what it means to see past color. Because everybody likes to say, I don't see color, I don't see color, I don't see color, until it's, yeah, officer, it's a black guy in my neighborhood. I don't know where he came from. Ancestor of a slave. We are ancestors of the enslaved. No one is born a slave, you become enslaved. The system that we fight against isn't the cops. It's not just bad cops. It's the system. The prison pipeline.
How do you turn off comments?
The lack of education of the world inside of world education. Why does black history start with slavery? Go to, Lincoln was so great. Malcolm X was a little too angry. But MLK took a long walk and healed everybody, and the last racist killed him and he went to jail. And yet we're still marching 60 years later. Every time I walk past an officer in a store or just go to a store. It's not fair. It's not equality. It's not what America is supposed to be built on. And I think that we as Americans know what we want our future to look like. Black Lives Matter.
What do we want?
Justice!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
If we don't get it, shut it down. If we don't get it,
Shut it down!
burn this motherfucker. Got another speaker coming up. Alexa?
Nice to see you all. It's been a while. Okay. Thank you guys for coming out for such a beautiful movement. I know we're all here today for the same reason, to send a message, acknowledge, and support. There are a little something to think to. Alright, so To all the people who say blue lives matter, all lives matter, etc. I agree. All life matters. I will never say one life matters more than the other. That's just common sense. But right now, our focus is for our Black brothers and sisters. Black Lives Matter. I am speaking for African Americans, Black Dominicans, to my Colombians, Puerto Ricans. Speaking for the people who are racially profiled when they are walking with a group of friends who look just like them through these three towns. I am speaking for the people who walk into a restaurant to dine in and the server gives away their table because they look like they won't tip. I am speaking for the people who are automatically associated with the ghetto when they're introduced to a white classroom. For the people who reach into their pocket to grab their ID and automatically have a gun pointed to their head. Being Black is not something you can change. You don't get a ceremony for it. It is not something you get praised for unless it involves winning a championship. A majority of us are here today because we have experienced or witnessed some type of racial injustice throughout these three towns because of how we look, because of our hair texture, or the God we pray to. Living and or working throughout these three towns, we can say we have heard the whispers. We have seen the looks. We can feel the judgment that has been brought onto us by the privileged. And it pains me to know that this is something that happens nationwide. But what do we do? What do we do? Some of us are so eager to find a solution to a problem before truly understanding it. I'm here to make sure we are still fighting for all those who have been silenced even after it's done trending. Doing your part is more than retweeting and arguing with strangers on social media or showing up to a protest and holding up your sign. Doing your part is signing petitions, putting the people you call family or friends in check. It's educating yourself and the people around you. You have to listen. Our voices united can be very powerful. This year, it's going to be historical. 10, 15, 20 years from now, what will you tell your children you did when all of this was happening? We are here today to spread awareness, to share our message, to make sure our voices are heard. I am sitting up here today because I want to change, and my words of hope are the only things I wish to exchange with you. You cannot say all lives matter until you acknowledge Black lives do too.
First, I would like to thank everyone who decided to come out today to make a stand for what's right. I would like to thank everyone who helped organize this protest, volunteers who came out to help make this door as smooth as possible. As we make this stand together on this beautiful day, let's understand why we are here to begin with. It's not simply because of the killings of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Maurice Gordon, or countless other victims that our system has neglected justice, which has forced our society to fight for it. Racism is a reality that so many of us in this community are forced to deal with. Not only does racism live throughout households, but it has affected our educational system in more ways than you realize. The school system is one of the most important factors in our community, being that this is where we send our children to learn and grow. It's time to realize that we need a change, and to come together so our youth will not have to experience biased teachers. Many of us who have gone to Passaic Valley do not know what it feels like to have an African-American teacher. We send kids to our public schools not to get harassed by the superintendent, not for kids to be told that they won't turn into anything in their life. That picture isn't painted for everyone, but that picture is painted for minorities in this very building.
being told that by the age of 18 I'll be dead or in prison. Now being 20 years old, still breathing and not in prison, I beg for change for the next generation. Black lives matter, and that doesn't mean that Black lives matter more than others. It simply means that Black lives matter.
At this time, we'd like to take another moment of silence for all of our brothers and sisters that have been taken from us by the hands of police and their excessive use of force. So please, we'll just take a moment of silence. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Sandra Bland, Tamir Rice, Philando Castile, Eric Garner, Freddie Gray, Sean Bell, Trayvon Martin, Emmett Till. These are just a handful of names, a minuscule number on the list of what this country has done to us. One person said in order for us to progress and see change, we have to look at our past and what is really going on. And that is the only way we can progress, until we truly understand what has happened and what is continuing to happen in this country. Thank you.
How's it going, guys? Thank you guys so much for being here today, being a part of something that's so much bigger than all of us here. My name is Jabbar Lewis. I went to this high school from 2011 to 2014. I happen to be the 4.5% of black people who live in Little Falls. I graduated with less than 10 black kids in my graduating class, I think. And I've had the privilege all my life of being the token black guy. I played the sports. I was playing football, I ran track, I was in choir, I was in the drama club. So I had friend groups everywhere. And for me, I thought that was getting everybody to like me, no matter my skin color. I didn't think about that then. But it wasn't until I got older till I realized the microaggressions that I was receiving. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you in here, black people, have received the comments like, "You're cute for a black guy." You're assuming that black people aren't cute. You talk white. What does talking white sound like? You dress white. I don't know what those mean. But my problems are very minuscule to the movement at hand. A lot of my friends, I'm sure a lot of you have dealt with racial tension in these three towns. And this racism doesn't just happen in these three towns, unfortunately. It happens worldwide. All 50 states have participated in the Black Lives Movement. When's the last time all 50 states agreed on one thing? Never, never, ever. So, I guess now our lives finally matter. It feels like this movement is progressing and moving towards a solution. But it took 400 years of oppression, of bigotry, of hatred, of lynching, of murdering, of raping. I can go on and on, all the way back to Emmett Till, all the way fast forward to Trayvon Martin, to Tamir Rice, to Sandra Bland, to Philando Castile, to Breonna Taylor, to George Floyd, to Ahmaud Arbery. Remember to say their names, never forget them, because they were killed by racism. You know, it's a question I want you guys to all to take home with you. Talk amongst your friends, your family members, your co-workers. I want you guys to ask yourselves, why is ending racism so controversial? Why, when we get killed and black people, you know, we have a video of an officer kneeling on a black man's neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, correct? And we have it on video of this man pleading to his mom, you know, a man over 40 years old pleading to his mom for his dear life. And the cop gets off free, scotch-free, goes home to his wife, gets a raise, and black people decide to take to the streets. Go to marches, let's protest. Everybody says, no, that's not it. That's not it, we can't do it that way. When Colin Kaepernick did it 4 years ago, silently stood in the middle of a football field, NFL stadium, and took a knee. Silently, didn't say anything until he was asked, why'd you do it? Because America doesn't treat everybody equally, he says. All of America said, that's not how you do it. Okay. So when the rioting happens, the looting happens, which by the way is a form of protest, I know we all don't like it, but when that starts happening, everybody said that's not the way. So another question, since everybody has their degrees, what is the question? What is the solution? What is the solution to stop killing black people? People are not out here chanting Black Lives Matter, risking our lives in a global pandemic for no reason. We too would like to stop saying Black Lives Matter. We would. Yeah. And we are tired of fighting the same battles that our great grandparents were fighting years and decades and centuries ago. Why are we still here, America? You know, I happen to have great white friends, great non-people of color friends around me. Keep them around me. I think we're stronger together than us apart. And they all ask me, what can I do right now to better the solution? And my first thing is open your purses. What that means, if you guys aren't hit, take out the credit cards, put it into those organizations who help black lives out here, support the black businesses, and that goes so far from, you know, we're gonna support them just because they're black. You know, black people are denied loans at the highest rate. We can't take out loans to start a business. We weren't privileged enough to have a business passed down to us. So when we say support black lives, we support black businesses, we mean it. You know, we are also affected at the highest rate with coronavirus. We're also denied the most health care out of any other race in America. Open your purses. Get out there, get active. You know, white silence is violence. Black people have to work twice as hard to get half as much as our counterparts. Do your part, talk to your friends, talk to your coworkers. We didn't create racism. We're just trying to fight it. We are. And until we come to an agreement that there isn't justice for all, the sooner we can get to the solution. My name is Jabbar Lewis. Thank you guys so much for coming.
Good?
Give a round of applause for him.
So here's the thing. I could go on and on and on and on about how Black Lives Matter. I could repeat everything that everyone before me said so wonderfully, but I'm not. This is particularly hard for me because we're in Little Falls, and I'm from Patterson, y'all, so. Some of you might know what I mean when I say Little Falls tried me a few years ago. See, I know what I mean. But I didn't react. And when I think back to that day, like, why didn't I react? My mom told me this day might come. She told me what I should and shouldn't do when someone calls me the N-word. And she said, you might get angry, you might cry. And I remember just being numb. Like, damn, I thought my money was green like everybody else's. I said, ma'am, sir, please, and thank you when they bought my stuff. But it wasn't enough. So, as I stand here and listen to what everyone before me had to say, all I could think is, why are we still having this conversation? Like, how many more people have to die? Not just by law enforcement. Like, we're not gonna stand up here and lie and say that law enforcement officers are the only people who kill black people, because that would be a lie. Because Ahmaud Arbery was running when he got killed for being black. Of lives, let's remember something, my fellow black brothers and sisters, and to everyone else here, no disrespect, but let's remember, killing us is not the only way someone can take our life. Because remember, the Central Park 5 got life, and they didn't do it. Focus on justice when it comes to a casket. Because they are killing our careers. They are killing our chances to do anything by making an accusation. I think I saw, nope, they were definitely black. And it's not like, I honestly, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I hate when people like blame the police for everything. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I hate it. Because remember, like, before Sean Bell got killed, somebody called 911. Don't disappear on me. Like, we need to hold the people who call them just as accountable. We are tired of dying. We are tired of marching. We are tired. Like, we're sick and tired of explaining to y'all why we are sick and tired. If you can't see it, open your eyes. Like they said, support our businesses. And I don't mean buy tickets to see LeBron play, because yes, LeBron is black, but when you pay hundreds to see him, you're not paying, you're paying the white man. Okay, I know I'm talking to somebody because that whole side is silent. I'm gonna turn this way. We're only good for y'all when you can spend hundreds of dollars on Nikes because Kobe wore them. God rest his soul. Okay, they don't watch basketball. Let me do it this way. Tiger Woods is a black man. Y'all with me? Tiger Woods is I got we in Little Falls. I'm so sorry. Derek Jeter is See, some people be like, but he's half black. Yeah, but what's the half? Right. Black. Right. Hey. Let me tell you. So, you can't hate us and love our culture. First of all, ooh, I got a good one. Drake is half black. Beyonce light skinned, but she's blacker than black. Okay? I know I'm talking to somebody because y'all can't love half. Y'all can't pick and choose who y'all love. And I say that and saying this. I see a lot of signs that say F the police, F the police. I got a problem with that. Because we walk past about 15 black officers. And if their life don't matter, whose life does? So take that into consideration when you say fuck the police. Because I do take offense to that because I have black friends that are cops. And how do you think they feel being a black cop today? But they put a smile on their face and they put their uniform on and they do their job. So keep that in mind. And I'm gonna end with this. Black athletes matter, black musicians matter, black culture. And some of y'all might hate to admit this, I don't care how much melanin your skin lacks. The way our ancestors got around, everybody in this motherfucker black.